Hello everybody, it is the day after Christmas and I decided I would do a top 5 games of the year and I asked Garrick about his previously in one of the Christmas special videos, but I never actually said mine, so I will be telling you guys mine from number 5 to number 1. Why am I not doing top 10, you may ask? Because if I did top 10, then I'd want to do top 15. If I want to do top 15, I'd want to do top... It's a slippery slope for me, so I decided just to go as small as number as possible, so top 5 works. And starting in at number 5 would be FTL. This game is amazing. If you don't know, it was funded through Kickstarter, so it was one of the major Kickstarter releases. And it's a roguelike space game where you take care of your ship and you try to get through the end, and it's really difficult. It's really fun. I've probably put 30 hours, I'd estimate, into the game, which is fairly low for, considering some people just play it every day. If it were on something mobile, I'd probably play it a lot more, like an iPad or just iOS in general. But because it's at home, I only get to it every now and then, but I've put a ton of time into this game. I've live streamed it a few times. It's easily one of the best games simply because of the presentation. I mean, the music's good, the graphic style was, or their deliberate graphic style they chose was really good, and they lived up to the promise on what they wanted to do as far as the Kickstarter stuff was concerned, so I'm really excited about that. Plus, you can mod the heck out of it and just kind of do whatever you want. Really great. You can pick it up for super cheap as well. But as far as that goes, I mean, it made it in at number 5, which is pretty high on my list. You should see top 10. What else was there? Number 4 was PlanetSide 2. Now, this would be higher on my list, but the reason it's not is because I am a huge fan of the PlanetSide series, right? So from the first PlanetSide to this one, there's a lot of things that I'm missing in PlanetSide 2 that were in PlanetSide 1, like the ability to refit your vehicles in the field, so you don't have to just spawn a new one, and tons of other things as well. But the list goes on and on for it, and that's just because I'm super critical of the game because I love the first one so much. Now with PlanetSide 2, I do love the game a lot, but there were 3 other games that I thought were better this year. However, PlanetSide 2 still continues to be the game that I go to when I'm just bored. I got home, I'm really tired, I see people online that I want to play video games with. What do? I play PlanetSide 2. And it's as easy as that. I mean, it's a free-to-play game, and it's easily the best free-to-play game out there, even over Star Wars. And Star Wars is a great game, but I mean, as a free-to-play game, it's pretty terrible. But PlanetSide 2 does free-to-play very well, and the game is very good. If you don't know what it is, first-person shooter, you could probably gather that from the background. It's a massively multiplayer first-person shooter. I think that's the key. Not many people do that, and I think that's why it's ended up at number 4 on my list. But number 3 is also another first-person shooter, and that is Far Cry 3. If you haven't played Far Cry 3, it is easily one of the best games to come out in a long time. It has the best voice acting. It has the best, I guess, villain in any game that I've played within the past few years, that I can remember. He is so good, and the reason it's so good is because they did the motion capture with the voice acting, so they got all that done, and it makes all of the story elements and stuff just come together really well. It's really well presented. The game is really pretty. It's open world. It feels a lot like Skyrim in that fact, but it's got some pretty awesome guns and customizations. Plus, you get to hunt things down like tigers and whatnot. And I really love the game from the little that I've played of it. But I'm kind of looking forward to getting a bit more into it in this next year. Hopefully beating it, eventually, and possibly checking out the multiplayer. But yeah, very good game. I was impressed. I didn't think I was gonna like it, so I went in with low expectations, and now it's number 3 on my list. Number 2 on my list could be a bit more controversial. Some people have it as number 1. I know a few sites have it as number 1, but as far as me, it's number 2 on my list, which is Mass Effect 3. I love this series. I can't imagine how many hours I've actually put into the total of the 3 games. The first game I played a good 3 or 4 times. Second game I've probably played a good 6 times. This game I've played in total 4 times. So I've gone through the game, 4 different characters. 2 of them were saves from another one. One of those was the one that I recorded. And it's such a good game. I think Kevin Van Ord on GameSpot put it pretty much dead on. I mean, he nailed exactly what Mass Effect 3 is. It's not a game about story, although the story is good, except the ending, which is the controversial part. But it's a game about people, and it's a game about having relationships with the people on your crew. It's about I guess crewmanship. I guess that's a good word for it. But most of all, it's about having a team of people that you are really close with, and you go through the game with this team of people. All 3 games, in fact, you go through with a team of people, and it's one of those games that you get emotionally attached to those characters, but the story is just icing on the cake, really. The story is very good, except for the controversial ending. Even then, I still thought it was it was okay. It wasn't super bad, but I liked it. And just for the simple fact that I've put in so many hours into the series, that's why it's on my number 2. Not to mention that it's just a good game, and if you haven't picked it up, you can pick up the Trilogy Edition, which just came out for pretty cheap, and it's just really great. Plus, I think you can actually get Mass Effect 3 on Origin right now for 50% off, so it's like, because it's a $30 game, so you get for like $15. Really good. I would highly suggest it, but it didn't come in at number 1. No, the one game that surprised the heck out of me this year, and that came in at number 1, was Dishonored. This game I've beaten a good 6 times. I know that I have because I went through and just checked my saves before doing this video. I did beat it 6 times with 6 complete different playthroughs, and the thing that makes this my number 1 game is I played it 6 different times, and every single time I played it, I did it differently. And games don't do that. Even Skyrim, which is an open world game, doesn't do that. You go into the game and you plan out kind of what you're going to do, but every single quest is the same quest. Even if I wanted to, change up the way I did it, maybe I didn't even want to hit the main story on Skyrim until later on in the game, and I just did all these other quests, it doesn't matter. I will be in there doing it pretty much the exact same. All the quests take you to the same spots. You have to do the dungeons the same way because it's all very linear. But when you talk to your friends about it, you say, yeah, I did this and this and this, and they're like, oh yeah, I did that quest and that quest and that quest, and it's the same quest that they did. You may have just done it in a different order than them, or discovered different things within going from one spot to a different spot, but they may have discovered that later on. In Dishonored, it's not like that. In Dishonored, there's so many different ways to take care of any solution to the problem. Plus, the game changes so drastically based on the way you're playing, whether you're playing aggressively and killing people, or passively and just kind of choking them out and hiding the bodies and stuff like that. When I talk to other people about who are playing the game, they give me way different descriptions of the ways they've decided to handle problems in the game, and that's what makes it my number 1 game. Plus, it's a super fleshed out world, and they just announced that it's going to become a franchise for Bethesda because it did so well, which gets me super excited because that game, easily number 1 on my list. If you haven't played it, you have to pick it up. It's been going on sale for 50% off, and the game just came out, so you have to pick this game up. It is so good. Plus, it has a good graphic style. I really like how they did the Unreal Engine in this one. It's it doesn't look like any other Unreal Engine game. It's very pretty. The world, the steampunk world they have it in, is amazingly interesting, and just it's spectacular. It's perfect. It's everything I wanted out of the game, plus some. And it was the most surprising game that came out this year for me, even over Far Cry, which I thought I didn't or wasn't going to like, and I still did. But overall, that's my top 5 list. Some games that were really close to making it in were like F1 2012, because the season of F1 this year was really good, and they captured it very well in the game. But it was close, but no cigar. And then Awesomenauts was also another game that I really enjoyed playing and have put a lot of time into, and I've just really enjoyed it. But I think at the end of the day, if you haven't played one of these games on my top 5, you can go and get them from Steam or GOG or Green Man Gaming. It's just anything like that for super cheap right now because of the holiday sales. So if you haven't already, I'd suggest picking any of that up, except PlanetSide 2, obviously, because it's free to play. But on that note, I'm going to go probably play one of these several games. In fact, PlanetSide sounds really good right now, so I'm going to go have fun in that. We'll see you guys next time.